Well, it gives me great pleasure to introduce today's featured Rotarian. This is Gerry Turner. He's been a Rotarian for quite a while, and he's going to tell us about some of the projects that he is especially interested in that Rotary does here in Willits. I'm going to ask him to talk a bit about himself and a bit about his passion in Rotary. What brought you to Willits? How did you get here?
I worked for Little Lake from about 1970 to about 1976 in Pennsylvania, and then was offered the opportunity to come to Willits, to move to Willits. When Sandy and I flew out here and landed in San Francisco and started journeying north, it just felt better and better and better the further north that we came. And when we came across the hill at Howard Forest and started down the hill, we both said, I like this. This is the place. This is where we want to be. And I worked for Little Lake for a number of years, and they went belly up and floated down the river, and we found some other things to do to support ourselves. And when it became apparent that Little Lake wasn't going to have a longer future and we needed other things to do, my wife and I bought a wholesale nursery on East Side Road. And we ran that wholesale nursery for several years, and that was a good experience. In 1984, I started a company, Willits Electronics Assembly. And because I have some engineering background, and because I like talking to engineers, we were able to start a little business here that did some very, very, very sophisticated electrical and mechanical assemblies. At one point in time, we were building devices for companies like Applied Materials and Hewlett-Packard and Sun Microsystems that were very, very difficult mechanical and electrical assemblies with a very, very high coefficient of quality necessary for them. We did that until all of those companies decided to move the jobs to China, and in 2000 that company was no longer able to survive. After that, I was lucky enough to be employed by Spare Time Supply, and since I have some computer background also, I'm a computer geek for Spare Time Supply. And thank you, Mike. I'm glad to be doing that, and my wife works there also. So we've been employees for Spare Time Supply for about 7 years now.
Great. Well, I'm certainly glad that you found Willits, and I'm glad that you found Rotary, and I'm particularly thankful for our community that you found us. Gerry.
Yes, Dr. Earl.
I would like to know when you joined Rotary, approximately at least, and how that came to happen.
Earl, I joined Rotary in 1994. I had been in Leadership Mendocino the year before that, and Leadership Mendocino is a good thing to enthuse you about becoming more involved in your community. I had a good friend, Gerry Caldwell, who had pressured me for several years to come and join Rotary.
What interests me even more than what brought you to Rotary is what keeps Rotarians active in the Rotary Club of Willits. Could you tell me why you continue to belong to Rotary?
Well, I continue to belong to Rotary for a couple of reasons. One is that there are many enthusiastic members of Rotary. that whenever you feel like that you're starting to lose your enthusiasm, or some things are becoming too much, there's always somebody around to pick you up. I stay with Rotary because, as much as anything else, I love spending Rotarians' money to help other members of the community. That's a great feeling. And I enjoy the kinds of projects that Rotary allows me to become involved in. There's lots and lots and lots of things to do in our community. There's lots of needs to be met in our community. And there's always somebody in Rotary who has the same kind of concept that you do for what can help. And so it's a lot easier for everybody to get together and get something done. It's difficult to do something in a community by yourself. It's a lot easier to do something in a community when you have a support group to help you. And Rotary performs that function for me.
Great, thank you. I'm also curious about your year as president, which I believe might have been about 10 years ago. How did that come to pass that you agreed to be president, and was there part of your year that you enjoyed more than the rest of it?
Well, no person joins Rotary and is a Rotarian for more than 2 years in a small club before somebody doesn't approach you with the idea of becoming an officer in the club. Mm-hmm. So that part of things, I think, is happens to most everybody. I decided to become Rotary President because the two people in the 2 years previous to me were not as active in the community as I would have liked to have seen, and I thought the Rotary Club could use a little prodding and pushing, and I thought that maybe I was somebody who could do that prodding and pushing. So I had some real projects lined up, and I took that as an opportunity to do that. Involved with that was spending Rotarians' money. Rotary had a nice budget that year, and we had lots of money available to do things, and so I made sure by the end of my year that our budget was a lot less than it was. We did a lot of good things in the community. If memory serves me well, that year Rotary spent about $115,000 in the community, and that was 15 years ago. It was a lot of fun doing that.
As I remember being a Rotarian at that time, it was one of my favorite years in the club as well.
We did some good stuff.
Well, now we get down to some really juicy stuff. What is your very favorite project of all the projects Rotary does in the community and throughout the world? What's your favorite one?
Well, I have two things that I'm always very interested in. One is I think that in our society in general, in Willits community in particular, there's not much reason for people to go without food. And so I'm always very interested in the community food bank and Willits Daily Bread. I've served on the board of directors of Willits Daily Bread before, and I've certainly assisted with the food bank, and so that's a good project and near and dear to my heart. The other program that I do deeply enjoy is the Christmas gift program. That program serves a need that's a little bit hard to define because Christmas is such a touchy-feely thing. But it's really important to me to see children in need get those needs fulfilled and have those smiles on their faces at the end of the year. We've done that program in such a way that there's a large number of people who contribute to the program, time, energy, money, and it fits a need within the community that you don't see fulfilled in a lot of other communities. So I'm really proud of that program.
Good. About how many children do you think we are usually served by the program?
Last year, approximately 275 families were involved in the program, and nearly 500 children. Understand that we put a lot of time and energy in qualifying the children who are involved in that program. We have partnered up with social services, with the school systems, with the local food bank and homeless feeding program, with the police, the nice folks at the police department, and other organizations that are in a position to be able to identify children who are truly at risk and in need. And because of that, we can feel very good about putting the time and energy into the program to give these children The idea that they aren't alone, they aren't by themselves, they have other people thinking about them.
Oh, good, thank you. Is this a project that you think Rotary could do without help?
No, I don't. If you live with the project for the 45 days that my wife and I lived with the project, you realize that it would be impossible for a single person or even a small group of people to be able to do what is done. Because of that, it's inclusive enough to give a whole bunch of people the opportunity to play a role. Some people can only buy one gift of of what a child needs, and that's fine. That's okay. That gives that person the opportunity to do that. Other people can adopt an entire family. Other people aren't interested in Christmas shopping for children, but they are interested in helping deliver Christmas gifts. Other people are interested in getting their Boy Scout group to come in and help wrap presents. Other people are interested in delivering food to make people happy who are wrapping the presents. We've always had building owners who were willing to donate their building for a 30-day period to be able to have a place to do this project. So I think it's a project that involves everybody in the community, and by the time it's over, everybody who has been involved in the project feels good about the involvement that they've had.
Certainly makes me proud to be a Rotarian, hearing more about this program. Now, other than your excitement about Rotary, your passion for spending money that isn't yours,
OPM.
though a lot of it is your money. Yes, OPM is a really important concept in Rotary also. Tell us a little bit about what makes Gerry other than flat track racing and Rotary.
Well, my family is very important to me. I think that's something that a lot of people can say. I'd like to feel that I can say it with more enthusiasm than other people because I feel like my family is special. So I enjoy the time that I'm able to spend with my family. I enjoy holidays, and I enjoy the everyday part, and maybe even the not so good parts of family. Every family has their ups and their downs and their emotional situations. We have them too, and we work very, very, very hard within our family trying to support one another and trying to make sure that nobody ends up with the sticky end of the lollipop. I enjoy cooking. Cooking is a good thing to do. One of the opportunities that Rotary has given me is the opportunity to whip out a quick meal for 150 people. That's a good thing to do. I've learned since Rotary to look at all the commercial kitchens in the community, and I have my list of my favorites and the ones that I like to cook in. I enjoy hunting mushrooms at this time of the year and eating them, more importantly than hunting them. Those are things that move me.
Great. Well, I'd certainly like to thank Gerry Turner for joining this program today and for sharing both about his life as well as his passion in Rotary. And I'd like to thank the members of the community who are watching this show. I thank you for helping us fulfill our dreams. Thank you.